Hello again. I do not think I have ever spoken to an ordinary person who didn't think that having more police walking about the streets would have a good effect on the crime rate. Not one. The sight of a policeman walking slowly along a street not only makes law-abiding folk feel safer, it also means that anybody minded to scribble graffiti, break into a house, mug somebody, or carry out an act of vandalism will think twice. This salutary effect is long-lasting, and even if we're just talking about a 15-minute patrol once a day, then levels of all sorts of crime will plummet. We all know that. Now, some research carried out in the Essex town of Southend and also in Bedfordshire has confirmed it. In the description to this video I give a link to this. Let me break off for a moment for a personal anecdote of the benefits of this sort of policing. The sort of annoying thing, I'm afraid, to which all old people are prone. When I was about 9 or 10, my family lived in the East London district of Bethnal Green. One day I was walking out with a friend. It was common enough for kids at that age to go out without adults in those days, and we saw a policeman walking towards us. As he passed, I said, "Watcher, Dixon," in reference to the popular television programme Dixon of Dock Green. He turned back immediately, reproached me for speaking so flippantly to him, and took my name and address, which was scary and made me wonder if there would be any consequences for this bit of cheek. I soon found out when I went home, for my mother was furious, asked me what on earth I'd been doing to cause the police to visit the house. As soon as he'd left me and my mate, he must have gone straight round to my house. He warned my mother in a friendly way that he had to tick me off for being cheeky, and he warned her that behaviour like that was often the precursor to juvenile delinquency. Nothing aggressive, simply worried about a kid who might be going the wrong way. That's how it was then with the bobbies on the beat. I need hardly say that I never cheeked a policeman again. When patrols were carried out for 15 minutes or so at a time in different parts of Southend, it was found that violent crime fell by 70%. In Bedfordshire, there was a 38% drop in robbery. The fact is that just as we all know, police officers patrolling the street makes for safer and more secure communities. And the wonder of it is that this should ever have been forgotten. It is far more effective than a police car whizzing by every so often. Of course, there's nothing at all to stop the return of police officers on the beat. It would just mean abandoning all the current trendy nonsense about recording hate incidents and trouble on social media and all the rest of it. How do I know that it's possible? Very simple. During the lockdown in the summer of 2020, one couldn't move without tripping over a police officer pounding the beat. I saw them all over Epping Forest, on the streets, in parks, on beaches. There were thousands of police officers available to put on the streets. If it were possible to do that with a non-emergency, like COVID, then of course it should be possible to do it for a genuine emergency, such as violent crime in London. The police simply dropped everything and focused on patrolling the streets. Let them do that again and just see the difference it would make to our lives. Provided that this time, instead of pestering law-abiding people because they were sunbathing or sitting in a park, they focused instead on stopping criminals. Would any normal people be bothered if the police stopped worrying about transphobia and patrolling Twitter and Facebook and spent their days instead cracking down on the use of knives and guns? I'm sometimes amazed that experts need to conduct conduct extensive research and carry out all sorts of statistical analysis just to discover what most of us have known in our hearts all along. This is a classic example. The new Commissioner of Police for the Metropolis has hinted strongly that he's in favour of more foot patrols of this kind. I suppose that it would be asking too much to really if he tried to smarten up the police a little and make them look less like paramilitary thugs from some banana republic while he was at it. Just look at the police constables in the thumbnail to this video. They're smart, well groomed, no tattoos or earrings, cleanly shaven and look friendly. How different, how very different from the types one sees about today.